Hello guys, welcome to MindMajix, and in this special session our trainer will explain everything you need to know about the Spring Boot. Before beginning the session, let's look at the topics you will cover in this video. We shall start with Spring Security. And we will continue with Introduction to Spring Security. Spring features of securing applications and advantages, and we will end this session with Hands-on Spring Boot Security. Please check the caption to jump between the topics. If you are new to the MindMajix channel, please subscribe and press the bell icon to get quick updates about the new tech tutorials, free webinars, and career-enhancing shorts from working professionals. Like and share the video. Without any further delay, let's start the video.
So let's begin with our first concept, that is Spring Security Introduction. In simple words, Spring Security provides authentication and authorization to our application. I mean to say, generally what happens when we implement any web application, any enterprise application, basically there are two things are very important. One is authentication part. I mean to say that how where the user is trying to log in with username and password, whether the credentials are valid or not, we need to check it first actually. So that part comes under authentication, and authorization is nothing but even though the user is logged in successfully with proper username and password, but in our application, if any specific resource is able to access by the user or not, that comes under authorization. So that's the reason here the entire concept I'm just going to simplify with only two terms, that is authentication and authorization. Applying security for our enterprise applications is nothing but we are just going to focus on authentication and authorization to our application. Okay, so web applications are susceptible to security threats and attacks as they are accessible by anyone using the internet. I mean to say, generally what happened, whatever the applications we implemented, so those applications are generally able to access with the help of internet, right? But when we are trying to access those applications, so there may be a lot of issues. I mean, so as part of security, there may be some security threats. There may be some attacks, like some brute force attacks. Okay, all these things are there. How to overcome all those problems? So those things are comes under Spring Security point of view. And in the same way, when we are implementing some RESTful services, there may exist some REST endpoints having restricted access to specific users. I mean, for example, updating records or admin related operation. So based on the endpoint, we are just going to restrict the user. That, for example, if the endpoint is /admin, then what happened? So there the user, I mean, where the admin can able to log in and admin can able to perform the operations. So if other than admin actually, so he may have some, I mean, he may don't have permission or privileges to access that resource. Okay. So there also, we are just going to apply, I mean, Spring Security may be applied with the help of this some Spring REST endpoints also. Okay. We can use Spring Security to secure URLs. Spring Security is a security framework that secures J2EE based enterprise application. So here our main agenda is applying security to application is nothing but there we are just going to focus on URLs actually. So on specific URLs with specific endpoint when the user is trying to access, whether those resources can able to access by the user or not. And even though the user is trying to access with some specific username and password, whether those are valid or not. Okay, so everywhere, I mean, in every corner, actually, we just need to apply security for our enterprise applications. So there we can able to, we are just going to apply some kind of powerful as well as customizable security features, especially for authentication and authorization point of view. Spring Security Framework supports wide range of authentication features, authentication models. So these models either provided by third parties or framework itself. I mean to say, These models, some features are inbuilt features are there in Spring Security, and some are we are going to integrate with some other third parties actually. Okay, so we'll focus on what exactly these features in coming slide. Okay, and the next point is what is mean by authentication. We already discussed about authentication, right? Authentication is nothing but what happened for any application, whether the user is trying to access with his username and password, we need to check whether whether the details are genuine or not, whether the username and password are valid username or valid password actually. Then only the user can able to access our application, right? So authentication is nothing but it's a simple term to refer the process of proving that some fact or some document is genuine or not. Okay, so this term is typically associated with proving a user's identity. Usually, a user proves their identity by providing their credentials. So authentication is simply meaning is that the user is going to prove his identity. So how we are going to identify, how we are going to recognize their identity? So just using their credentials actually. If they have valid username and they have valid password, then the user can able to access our application, right? If the user don't have valid username, valid password, he is unable to access our application. That's a simple one actually. So credentials is nothing but what happened as part of our application. We are, I mean, for every user, there may be some username and some password. So username and password combination is the most popular authentication mechanism. Am I right or not? Anything, for example, either any application, generally we are taking Facebook or Gmail, whatever it may be, when you are trying to access the application, you need to have some valid username and valid password, then only you can able to access the application, right? So that's the reason what I'm saying, username and password combination is the most popular authentication mechanism. And it is also known as password authentication. There is some other name also for this one. So that is password authentication. Example, if you, as I already told you, if you want to access any account or any website, or a service provider such as Facebook, Gmail. Okay, so if you want to access that one, you need to have some proper username and proper password, then only you can able to access. If you enter a valid combination of these credentials, the service provider will allow you to continue. Right or not? So if you enter proper username, proper password into Facebook, if you have account in Facebook, then only you can able to continue your I mean, you can able to perform different actions in that application. Okay, so this is called authentication. Simple meaning is here we are just going to check the user's identity. Okay, user's identity. What is mean by authorization? So very simple. Authentication is nothing but it just depends on only identity of a user, right? But authorization, simple meaning is authorization is simply depends on the user privileges, user permissions actually, whether the user can able to access a particular resource or not. That comes under authorization part. I mean to say, this is beside the authentication. Authorization is besides the authentication. For a simple application, authenticating user might be enough. Am I right or not? But let's think about a big enterprise application. So there may be a different resources. There may be different roles in our application. So by using this authorization process, we are just going to give some specific roles to the users. So based on the roles only, he can able to access the specific resource. With simple authentication, we can't restrict logged in user as we don't have information about user privileges or permissions, right? Authentication is nothing but what happened. I mean, he's just trying to log in with his proper username, proper password, okay? Combination of username and password. But we can't restrict with these details actually if the user is trying to access a particular resource. So we need to pass some privileges or permissions to the user. So we need to check whether the user having permissions to access that specific resource or not. Okay. I mean to say authorization helps to provide this information before the user tries to access a resource. So after the authentication, authorization will help you to perform different actions based on the privileges. Okay, whether the user can able to access specific resource or not. So that's the reason it is a process of access control, deciding whether it allows a principal to perform an action. Okay, I mean to say either it may be admin, he may be user, leader, manager, contractor, or any anonymous user, etc. Okay, I mean to say, for example, assume that if you are taking any one simple scenario, that is customer care, okay, there one normal employee, example, he is just call center agent actually. So then what happened? The person as a normal employee, he may have only limited permissions to carry out certain operations. Am I right or not? So we don't want to allow this employee to perform other operations. In the same way, for example, uh, some backend product manager is there, so he is just allowed to work only on the products. So we don't allow product manager to change customer information or order information. The main duty of a backend product manager is he just need to work on only products actually. You don't have any permissions to change the customer information and orders information. But in case if e-commerce manager is there, he can work on both customers and orders information, but he can't change product information because his duty is different as a e-commerce manager. So system admin, then what happens? Admin, he have all the privileges, all the permissions actually. He can able to do all the operations. Okay. So that's a simple example. Okay. Um, that's it about authorization. After that, if we are trying to perform Spring security on our enterprise applications, what are the benefits? What are the advantages? So the first one is when we are trying to apply Spring security in our applications, then there is some extensible support for both authentication and authorization. Okay, and there we can able to protect from protect against attacks like that, maybe some session fluctuations or clickjacking or some attacks, whatever it may. Okay, and we can integrate the Spring security in a Spring MVC integration. Generally, what happened? All these enterprise applications are going to implement with the support of one design pattern, that is MVC design pattern, right? So when we are implementing MVC design pattern, there you can integrate Spring security also. Awesome feature, right? Ability to secure application against brute force attack. So there also some kind of brute force attacks also we can able to prevent it with the help of the Spring security feature. And portability also there, as well as we can able to protect from some CSRF attacks. A CSRF attacks is nothing but what happened, we are just going to generate for every user some separate token. When the user is trying to access our application, so then for every user, we are just going to mention some separate token. If the token is valid token, then only the user can able to access our application. Okay, so this facility also there as part of Spring security. Okay, there may be some Java configuration support with some annotations, or there may be some XML files. We are just going to write some security related things actually. Okay, great. But here the point is actually, okay, we are ready to implement one Spring Boot web application in MVC design pattern, but we don't have any idea about how to apply Spring security, right? To be frank, to apply Spring security on your enterprise applications, there are different techniques out there. These all are comes under Spring security features. So there you can able to perform some basic authorization, or you can able to apply some single sign-on, or there may be some software localization, or remember me feature, LDAP feature, JAAS feature, web form authentication feature, digest access authentication feature, HTTP authorization feature. All these facilities are there. So we will focus on one by one what exactly it is. Assume that, for example, Authorization is nothing but we are just going to, as I already told you, actually, authorization is nothing but we are just going to provide some privileges to the user. So based on that permission, based on that privileges, the user can able to access, right? I mean, this functionality is provided by Spring Security and allows the user to be authorized before accessing resources. Okay. So it enables developers to set access controls for resources. We are just going to set some access controls like whether this particular resource is accessed by admin or this particular resource is accessed by the user. All these permissions, we are just going to set it with the help of this roles actually. As a developer, we are just going to set it. As a developer, we are just going to enable to set access controls for resources. Okay. And one more feature is single sign-on. Single, the meaning is single sign-on is nothing but this feature allows a user to utilize a single account. Okay, to utilize a single account to access different applications. Okay, different applications with single username, single password, he can able to access. Okay, and one more point, software localization. The meaning of this one, software localization is nothing but this capability enables us to create user interfaces for applications in any language. Okay, localization is nothing but what happened. So we can able to implement enterprise applications with different languages support. I mean to say the browser supported languages. Okay, and after that, I'm just going to focus on one more thing, that is what exactly remember me feature. With the help of HTTP cookies, Spring Security provides this capability. Okay, it remembers the users and prevents them from logging in from the same workstation until they log out. I mean to say, generally what happened as a user when I'm trying to log in a Gmail, then it is going to ask, I mean, it's just going to get the username and password. After that, there is some feature uh, below the password option, that is with one checkbox, remember me. When I click on the checkbox, actually what happened, all my details are going to store into cookies. So that would help me when I'm trying to reconnect the application. The second time, you don't need to enter your credentials because already those credentials are stored into HTTP. And these credentials should be stored up to you logged out from your application and up to your browser history is going to delete. If the browser history is going to delete, then what happened? Obviously, the cookies also will delete it. So at that moment, this remember the feature is not working, but you can give this facility also as part of Spring Security. And one more feature is LDAP. What does mean by LDAP? Lightweight Directory Access Protocol. That is the full form of LDAP. So this is an open application protocol. So for that is useful for managing and interacting with dispersed directory information services over the internet protocol. Okay, like some it's just like I mean it's just like one simple protocol actually that will be help us to manage and interact with some dispersed directory information services over the internet protocol. Okay, and one more feature is JAAS. What is mean by this? Java authentication and authorization service. Especially, we are going to use it in login module. So this is Java-based pluggable authentication module. It is supported by Spring Security's authentication process. Okay. So this feature also you can able to apply. Or web form authentication. Web form captures and authenticate user credentials from the web browser during this procedure. Okay. While we wish to build web form authentication, Spring Security supports it. So this is also same thing. Like by using this one also actually we can able to capture and we can able to authenticate user credentials from the web browser actually. Okay, web form authentication. And one more feature is digest access authentication. The meaning is we can make the authentication procedure more secure with this functionality than with basic access authentication. So before delivering sensitive data over the network, so then it requests that the browser verify the user's identity as part of this digest access authentication. Or we can apply one more technique, that is HTTP authorization technique. What we can do is this technique using Apache and paths or regular expressions. Spring provides this functionality for HTTP authorization of web request URLs. HTTP authorization is nothing but we are just going to, as I already told you, we are applying some endpoints actually. So we are just going to use some Apache and paths or regular expressions. So the Spring support this one also, this functionality also for HTTP authorization or web request URLs. Okay. But to be frank, instead of this, there are many uh, updated features are added to Spring Security 5.0 that like O authentication or reactive support, modernized password encoding, JAAT, all these things are there actually. What we can do with the help of O authentication 2.0 login, this is one feature, I mean, same Spring Security feature, allows the users to connect to the application using their current GitHub account or Google account or Facebook account, just like this actually. This deauthorization code grant defined in the O authentication 2.0 authentication framework, so that is used to implement this functionality. So generally what happens nowadays, most of the applications, they are not going to give the sign up page. They are directly, the user can able to directly log in into our application instead of sign up with his details. Simply he can able to just provide their credentials, like whatever the credential they are using for login with Gmail, logging with Facebook or GitHub, Twitter, whatever it may be. With those account details, the user can able to access our application also. So we just need to enable O authentication 2.0 feature in our application to access this feature. Okay. One more support is reactive support. Generally, what happened nowadays as a full stack developer, we are just going to integrate with our Java, with React, front end point of view, a Java with Angular, just like this, right? Spring Security 5.0 adds support for reactive programming and reactive web runtimes, as well as the ability to interact with Spring Web Flux. Okay, this support is also there. Or we are just going to use with one more technique, that is modernized password encoding. Spring Security 5.0 introduced the delegating password encoder, a new password encoder that is more current and solves all of the issues with the old encoder, no OP password encoder. I mean, instead of that, there are different modernized password encoding techniques are there. Okay, we are just introducing one simple technique, that is delegating password encoder. This is the new technique actually. Okay, with all these features actually, we can able to apply Spring Security on our applications. Okay, how simple it is. But I'm just going to apply at least one simple technique. To be frank, it's not possible to focus on all these techniques in a single video. Okay, that's the reason here in this video, I'm just going to focus on one simple technique, that is how to apply Spring Security on Spring Boot web applications. Okay, that's the reason I'm just going to implement one simple Spring Boot web application. So everyone knows the awesome ID to implement Spring Boot project is STSID, right? I mean Spring Tool Suite. So I'm just going to focus, I'm just trying to open that one. So that is there in my softwares folder. This is the tool STS Spring Tool Suite version 4. Okay, here, launch it. Yeah. You just need to wait a few seconds. It's just going to load. And just click on this, close this outline option. That's not required. So now what's our requirement? We just need to create one simple Spring Boot web project along with Spring Security. That's our main agenda, right? That's a very simple. For that, you just need to create one simple Spring Boot web application by just click on create new Spring starter project. And here you just need to pass the title for your application. Our application is Spring Boot Security Demo Application. And just choose the Gradle is Maven Gradle and version is 8. And I'm just going to give the package name as like com.springboot-security. Okay. And here description is I'm just going to apply a demo project for Spring Boot security point of view. Okay. Here I'm just going to give the package name as com.springboot-security. We just need to pass all these details, right? After that, just click on next button. Next, what's our next task? We just need to pass what are the required dependencies for your application development. So here my agenda is I'm just going to implement one simple web application, but just get the web dependency. I mean to say Spring web dependency. And what my requirement is, I'm just going to work with a template engine that is TimeLeaf. So I'm just going to take the support of this TimeLeaf template engine. And in the same way, I just want to apply Spring Security. So we just need to take the support of one simple dependency, that is Spring Security dependency. So these three dependencies are enough. I'm just going to click on next button. I'm just going to click on finish button. All of you, can you please observe here on below of your STS ID screen, you will able to see one, I mean to say progress bar with some percentage. So that indicates your application is going to build. Okay, so the building is completed 100%. The project is created successfully. Here you can able to see the structure. This is the prototype of your application, so which contains src main Java, src main resources, and form.xml, right? First, we'll check it actually whether all the dependencies are added properly or not to our application. Okay, for that, we just need to click on form.xml. And can you please observe whether all the dependencies are added successfully or not? For applying Spring Security, one dependency is enough, that is Spring Boot Starter Security. If you want to apply TimeLeaf template engine, one dependency is enough, that is Spring Boot Starter TimeLeaf. If you want to apply web, then one dependency is enough, that is Spring Boot Starter Web. Okay. Everything is perfect. Along with that, one dependency will come automatically, that is test dependency, right? Yeah, perfect. So now what's our next focus? Our next focus should be, I'm just going to implement one simple template, one simple home page with the simple title. I'm just going to create other. Okay. So here, HTML. The title name is home.html. Perfect, right? So just click on next and finish. So to create a template engine with the support of TimeLeaf, I'm just going to create one simple view page, right? So for that, we just need to enable template, right? So to enable template, we just need to take the support of some XML naming spaces. Okay, so here I already mentioned the required naming spaces. I'm just going to get it from here. Okay, just copy from here and just remove the statement and keep it here. Perfect, right? So only three XML naming spaces, that is one is www.w3.org, www.timeleaf.org, the websites, and as part of security, TimeLeaf extra Spring Security. Okay, and here I'm just going to keep the title, that is Spring Security application. Perfect, right? So in the body section, so what my intention is actually, so it just need to generate some simple message with h2. Welcome to Spring Boot security application. Spring Boot security application. Okay, perfect, right? So now after this, we just need to focus on one simple thing, that is, here I'm just trying to write some simple hyperlink. So the title, click hyperlink equal to. So here I'm just going to specify when the user is clicking on this link, actually he need to redirect it to um, this page actually. I mean, so this view, that is, I'm just going to specify the view name as uh, at the rate, okay, at the rate slash hello, okay, slash hello, but we just need to specify this hyperlink with the support of template naming, that is timeleaf support thref equal to, okay, at the rate, there we need to specify uh, the view endpoint actually. Okay, so just click here. Okay, so after that, one simple message to generate message. I'm just, what my intention is actually, when the user is trying to log in with proper username and proper password, I just want to generate some welcome message to him. That is, for example, if the user is ABC, then we just need to pass some, hey, welcome ABC, or XYZ, welcome XYZ, just like this actually. Okay, so to generate simple message. So just close the paragraph. Everything is perfect, right? So I just implemented only one simple home page with one simple welcome message. That's it. So if you want, if the user able to see the message, then he need to redirect it to this hello, then only he can able to see the message. But the user can able to access this message only if the user is valid user. If the user is having permissions, having privileges to access the particular resource. That's our main agenda. Okay, perfect. After this one, I'm just going to focus on create one simple template with one more simple title. The title should be, I'm just going to implement one more HTML file with the support of timeleaf template engine. The file name is hello.html. Okay, so here our main agenda is we need to display some message, right? So better to take this required naming spaces because we are working with timeleaf template engine. So in the root tag, I just specified, and after that, our title should be Spring Boot Security. Okay, application. And in the body section, I'm just going to write one simple message, that is welcome. Welcome Spring Boot folks. That's one simple message. So I don't want to write any extra things. Okay, we'll change this message after whether the user is valid user or not invalid user. And if the user is valid user, after seeing the message, what the action we need to perform, with we will focus on later. Okay, after this one, this is enough actually. I just implemented one simple message actually. Okay, that is welcome Spring Boot folks. So now two parts, I mean, two resources are successfully implemented. Now we need to set up the Spring MVC view controller for home and hello views actually. There are two views, right? Along with these two views, actually in future, I'm just going to implement the login page also. Okay, but for these two views, I'm just going to focus on the controller page actually. I mean to say, we just need to set up one simple Spring MVC view controller for this home page as well as hello pages. Okay, so for this, I'm just going to create a simple MVC configuration file, new class. So here the name is I'm just going to see the name is MvcConfig. The title is MvcConfig. Click on finish. So this class is going to implement from one of the predefined interface, that is web MVC configurer. Okay, after that we just need to import it, web MVC configurer. We just need to import it. Yes, perfect. Okay. After that, we need to take the support of one simple method to inform the view controllers. Okay. The method name is add view, controller. See there are two methods. One is add view controller with one object, that is view controller registry, or add view controller. So here we are just going to set it the view controller with the help of some registry objects. So that's the reason better to take the first one. Okay. And now I'm just going to write the logic, that is in case in add view controllers by using the object name, that is in place of registry, I'm just going to keep this one as view. Object name is view. So view dot add view controller. Okay, so here we need to specify the string URL path. So here the path is in case if it is slash. Okay, or yeah, in case it is home, even though home page, then it needs to set view name. The name is home.html. In the same way, view dot add view controller. So here we need to specify, that is slash. Then also it need to redirect it to set view name, that is hello only. Sorry, home only. Perfect, right? And in case the view dot add view controller, the URL is like slash home, then what happened? We need to set the view name as view dot set add view controller. In case the controller path is slash hello, then we need to set it like set view name. The name is actually, they just need to redirect it to hello page. Okay, perfect, right? And view dot add view controller. At present, I'm not implementing this template, but I'm just going to specify the path, that is in case it is login, then the set view name should be login.html. But still I have not implemented this page. Okay, perfect, right? So here we specified the we set up successfully Spring MVC view controller for every action. Okay, we are just going to implement from the web MVC configurer. So that is, there is some add view controller method is there. By using that method, you can able to set it actually. Okay, so now what we need to do. So after specifying this one actually, so we just need to focus on the login page also. Okay, like yeah. But here I forget one point, that is here we need to pass one simple annotation, that it is to specify it as a configure. So that is configuration annotation. So we just need to get it from the context.annotation configuration package. Perfect, right? So after that, after implementing this one, actually, we need to focus on, now we need to, I mean to say, we just implemented hello.html, home.html, as well as we set it successfully MVC config file, right? So now we need to create one simple web security configuration file. So that is used to secure your application to access the HTTP endpoints by using the basic authentication. Okay. So that's the reason I'm just going to focus on here, new class. The class name is web security config. Click on finish. We just need to extend from this class, we need to extend from web, okay, security configure adapter. There is some spelling mistake. Extends web MVC configurer adapter. Okay, sorry, web security, not MVC, web security configurer adapter. Perfect, right? So we just need to import it from the respective package. Perfect. But here we need to write the logic into one simple method. That is, we are just going to write the configure logic. So just take the support of configure. Okay, control space. You will get list of methods. Okay. So here I need some authentication. I mean, here I'm just going to specify the configuration with some HTTP security support. So just take the support of this one. And along with this one, actually, I just need one more method also to set configure actually. So that is configure global. Okay, so by default it comes with, okay, just take the support of config, control space. See the authentication manager builder is there. So here also you can able to configure with the authentication manager. This is for authentication point of view. Okay. And now here we need to pass HTTP security with some endpoints. For that, what happened here, already HTTP object is there. We just need to write the logic with HTTP dot. Okay, so here we need to write authorize HTTP dot authorize request. Okay, authorize request dot. Here we need to pass and matches. So here we need to specify the and matches in case if the and matches or slash or in case slash home, then what happened? If it is slash or slash home, then it should be permit all actually, no issue, right? Dot any other request, I mean, so any request dot authenticated. Okay, if any request is authenticated after that, so we just need to perform some other action, that is and dot form login. So here we need to pass the login page credentials with proper username and password. That's the reason I'm just going to pass a endpoint here, that is login. Okay, form login, so that it should be redirected to the login page. And after that, I'm just going to call one simple method, that is it should be permit all the so permit all. And so after that, we just need to log out, right? So we just need to pass logout, and this should be permit all. Okay, so logout, and after that, so we just need to pass permit all. We just need to click on semicolon, right? So up to this, we just specified the HTTP endpoints. Either it is slash home, then what happened? It should be permit all. If it is any request, then we just need to be authenticated. It should be redirected to the login page, and there we, based on the authentication, it's just going to give you the page actually. But at the time of authenticating a user directly, here I'm just trying to pass some information, that is authentication dot in memory authentication process. In memory authentication, I'm just going to pass some details, that is with user. So here I'm just trying to pass the username as like some ABC, and the password is with some password like ABC123. Okay, ABC123 dot. Here I'm just going to set the role. If the user is user, then he can able to access it. He can able to access it actually. So we are just going to authenticate by just passing the information, what exactly the username, what exactly the password from directly from the application. Because here I'm not working with any database, right? So that's the reason directly I'm trying to send the information related to username and password. Everything is perfect, right? So after that, our main intention is actually we need to create one simple HTML file that should be used to check whether the user is proper user or not proper. I mean, whether he is having proper credentials or not. We just need to check it, right? So here we need to focus on one more thing, that is we need to set two annotations that here we need to specify it as we are focusing on security configuration by just using one simple annotation, that is configuration annotation. And after that, one more simple annotation, that is enable web security. Okay, with these two annotations, we are just going to provide the security. Okay, so enable web security, right? So, but we just need to pass this information. I mean, this method instead of configure, I'm just going to authentication build manager. So here I'm just going to auto void. So at the rate auto void, and we just need to take the support of this annotation. What W is a small letter. We just need to auto void. Perfect, right? So after this, we implemented. Now our last focus is on we just need to create one more simple template that should be login.template. So for creating login.template, we just need to create one more extra HTML file with the title login.html, right? So the same thing, instead of implementing this one manually, I just created, I mean to say, I already implemented this one. I'm just going to take the supporter from that page. Same thing, we just need to write some XML naming space. After that, we just need to design some form page with two fields. One is username and other one is password. Okay. If the user is trying to log in with proper username and proper credentials, then he can able to access the message, welcome message. Otherwise, we just need to log out the, I mean to say, we just need to display some other information, that is the user is invalid. In case any error, if the user is unable to access, then we just need to generate invalid username and password actually. If the user is successfully able to access, then we need to generate the user can able to display one simple message, that is from the hello.html. At present, welcome to Spring Boot files are there. After seeing this welcome message or after seeing some message, the user, we need to provide some other facility to the user that he can able to log out from our application. Okay, so that's the reason I already implemented the code for home.html instead of simple message. Along with the message, I'm just going to focus on logout portion also. So that's the reason I'm just going to focus on this one. Take the support of form. Okay, so H1, copy this one. I'm just going to enable this part into the home.html, especially in the body section. Okay, if the user is able to access this one, he's just going to see the message that is hello with the username. If the username is ABC, you can able to get that is hello ABC. If the username is XYZ, then he can get some message that is hello XYZ, just like that, right? Okay. So after that, I'm just going to click on logout option. So based on that option, the user is going to sign off actually. So that's our main agenda. Okay. So we implemented one template page for login.html and one template for hello.html, right? So after implementing these two pages, I'm just going to check the main file. I mean to say Spring Boot Security Demo Application, so that it contains Spring Boot Security Demo Application .class. Everything is perfect, right? So now what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to run this application. So, but the problem is when I'm trying to run this application here, maybe 8080 is giving some problem in my machine. So that's the reason I'm just trying to change the port number with the simple option that is server.port equal to 2022. Okay. Save this application with this port number that is 2022. After that, I'm just trying to run this application by just clicking on run as Java application. Okay. So when I click on remind me later, and after that, I'm just trying to run this application. Okay. So now the application is started successfully with the port number 2022, right? This is the port number. So now we need to check it whether everything is working properly or not. We can able to access it or not. Okay. So that's the reason we just need to take the support of one browser. Okay. Just open Chrome, and after that specify the URL that is http://localhost 2022/. See there, it's redirected to the page that is welcome to Spring Boot Security Application. Click here to generate message. Okay. But what happened when I click on this one, actually before generating the message, first it redirected to the login page with the username and password. Based on that, actually you can get some message related, some welcome message actually. Okay. When I click on login sign in button, actually then what happened, it is showing that those are some invalid username and password. Actually you are not the authorized user. Okay. So at that moment what we need to do, I'm just going to log in with proper credentials. Actually I mean to say, after that I'm just trying to click on sign in. It's still in the same page actually, but it is not showing any error actually, right? So here some error is generated, so we need to check it. So what is the error? See, this is the problem actually. There is no password encoder mapped for the ID null. Okay. So what we need to do if this type of error is there actually. So the very simple actually, we just need to map with some password encoder. Okay. So to enable password encoder, what we need to do when we are trying to pass the user credentials with proper username and proper password, there we just need to specify at the time of password, we just need to write one simple noob. Okay. Noob ABC123 is the password. Save this one. And better to relaunch your application. Maximize the console. Just clear this console message. Now again, I'm trying to execute my application. Okay, so with slash, even slash or slash, both are redirected to same page actually. So that is welcome page. Okay, welcome to Spring Boot Security Application. So click here to generate message. I'm just trying to communicate with some wrong username and wrong password. Then when I click on sign in button, it is showing that invalid username and invalid password. So again, I'm just trying to log in with original username and original password. I mean, which we passed actually from our application. I'm just going to click on sign in button. See there, it is showing the information that hello ABC. And because the username is ABC, that's the reason it is showing hello ABC actually. Okay. After that, I'm just going to click on sign out option. Then what happened? It will be logged out. See there, you will able to see the option. I mean, you will message that is you have been logged out. Okay. This is the simple way, simple technique actually. I just apply authorization technique, but just with some endpoints actually. If the user is trying to access slash, then it will be redirected to the welcome page. Everyone can able to access it, and everyone can able to access the login page. But what happened if the user is having proper username, proper credentials, I mean username and password, proper credential, then only the user can able to access that resource actually. You can able to get that information, the message related piece. Okay. So this, I mean, whoever here the person is trying to access with some different username and different password. So he's the invalid user. So that's the reason it just shows invalid username and password. But here I'm just trying to pass the information directly from the application. Okay, so there I set it, the username is ABC. Click on sign in button, then it shows the simple message that is welcome to hello ABC. After that, you can, this information should be, at present here I'm not enabled any remember me feature. So even though you can able to do it, that one also, so that one also comes under Spring Security, or you can able to work with authentication, okay, a reactive support. There are many advanced features also there actually to work with different Spring Boot security features. When I click on sign out option, then again, if you want to uh, get that message, actually you need to log in with your proper username and proper password. So with their credentials only you can able to access it. Okay, so this is the story of how to apply uh, security, Spring Security in Spring Boot web application. It's a very simple application. Okay, same way you can able to work with different techniques. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll meet in the next video. Thank you.